All right, family, come on in the room. Let me know if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. We are moving swiftly forward, and all is looking good. All is looking really good. Let me know if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. We are
Summers, you
streaming
got
right
me in the
now on
show.
about 4 or 5 different platforms.
You got
So I
me in
want
the
to make
show
sure
now backstage.
what you said.
Put me backstage.
Well, I'm getting ready to bring a special guest on, y'all. If you talking about you got me backstage, listen, I'm going
No,
to
no, no,
introduce my
no.
guest real soon.
Am I
Y'all,
am I
y'all come on in
backstage
here.
now? I'm
Yes.
backstage now, right? Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna let you know. I'm on the line. I'm on the phone. I'm gonna let you know when I'm ready.
All right. So let's get started, y'all. I don't want to be too long, but I do want to get this thing real, real strong. So I'm going to try to get into all of my pages. Let me see where we are. Where are we? Okay, we're right here and we're right here. So right now we are on this camera here. All right. So, hey, family, good afternoon to you. Good evening, rather. It's a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And I pray that you've had a blessed and phenomenal day. Let's get on in here because we have quite a bit that we need to accomplish. And I'm looking to get it all done. Let me know where you are streaming from. I see so many of you coming on in, and I'm grateful to you for being a part of our stream tonight. We're going to be talking tonight about the right way to brand. And if some of you missed it, this morning I shared a post where, uh, quite frankly, it was it's ruffled a couple feathers. But hey, as I've been saying quite a while, I think I got it from the Joker. You've got, I'll have to get the exact saying. You got to crack a couple nuts to make pecan pie. So you have to make a couple people upset to move the society forward. As a matter of fact, let me also tell you that society has never been moved forward without agitation. And so, while it is that many people want all preachers to be peace loving and warm and inviting, the reality is that we have to be confrontational and deal with things, not to the point of being aggravating or if we have to be aggravating, of course we can. Jesus was aggravating. Jesus was aggravating so much that they wanted to stone him. It's in your Bible. If you want to tear it out, he told people exactly what a TI is, and but it was with the intent of perfecting. Here's what the Bible says: For God has given us in Ephesians chapter 4, the apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. Watch this: for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. And so while we're waiting on people and looking for people to just be peaceable and loving and considerate and kind, and all of those are qualities and fruit of the spirit. But the reality is that there are times when you have to get under people's skin and let them know that you're not about, that you're not about foolishness. You're saved, but you're not salt. That's the reality. Saved but not saved does not mean salt. All right. And so I want to invite my good friend in really, really soon, all the way from the great state of New York. He is covering the Northeast corridor, doing his thing. I'm currently in the Southeast corridor, doing my thing, and we're going to invite him into the conversation really, really soon. Let me see if I can see the comments because so many of you um, have. Let me see here. Okay, okay. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, I'm sorry, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're going to get into this conversation real, real quick. And let me see is my guest ready. Let me see if my guest is ready. I want to make sure that my guest is ready to come on board. He's getting himself ready to come on board. You all definitely want to tune into this conversation. Get something to drink. Get something to drink. I'm telling you now. Get something to drink. Get something to drink, and get ready for a riveting conversation regarding the right way to brand. Because a lot of us have, hey, we have ideas, we have concepts, we have visions, but we are not branding them the right way. Many of us are guilty of taking someone else's intellectual and creative property. And there are a lot of conversations regarding fair use or copyright infringement. Is it registered? Is it trademarked? Is it all of those things? Here's my conscience. My conscience tells me that if someone used their hard-earned money to get something made exclusively for them, All right, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. So, like I said, if somebody uses their hard-earned money to create something exclusively for their community, their brand, their corporation, it is not okay to just simply take from them and say, "I'm gonna borrow this." They won't find out about it, anything of that sort. That's not how these things work. If you don't know who I am already, you've been hiding under a rock. My name is Christopher Simons. I serve as the principal curator for the House of Heraldry, and this is an amazing opportunity for all of us to learn and to grow with regards to our knowledge of branding and marketing. I have been successfully strategizing for brands and marketing for brands, churches, choirs, artists, restaurant owners, business owners. I have over 300 to 400 clients. I'll have to double check the exact number, but I have about 300 to 400 clients as of right now. And so as a result of that, I think I have enough to talk about with regards to the subject of branding and marketing. So much so, because we generated several $1,000s worth of profit in this business, and it's not to, like, people just came to us because they had no other options. People came to us because they wanted a quality option. They came to us because they wanted a quality option. And so we're going to have a good discussion about what quality branding looks like, and how you and I can position ourselves to be the best we can be with regards to branding and marketing. I want to know if my guest ready? You ready, Bishop? You ready, Bishop? Come on in here, because we have quite a bit to discuss. And I'm going to bring you on. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm going to bring you on. He's an important man of God, and I'm going to bring him on while he finishes his conversation. So let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. There you go. There we go. Okay, nope. I want to go. Check this on this. Praise God. Oh man. Wow, wow, wow. All right. All right, Bishop. I'm waiting on you, man of God. I'm waiting on you to tell you all of that. So you call it back. Hey, y'all, listen, I got my good friend and my good brother, Bishop Robert Butler, all the way from New York. Would you mind greeting the people and inviting some folk into the conversation?
I'm here. Praise the Lord, everybody. My boy, thank you, Chris, Bishop, Archbishop, for having me. I got to get out of our phone conversation mode, because in our phone conversation we're Butler and Sermons, but now I got to call you Archbishop. I can't see you on the screen, my brother. How are you?
All right. All right. So he's here, y'all. And I'm going to work through these technical challenges that we are having, because I want to make sure that we are pulling this thing together. So if you give me a couple seconds, um, I'm going to try to make sure that this thing is the way it's supposed to be. All right. I want to make sure that this thing is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. So, okay. So let's see. Let's see. I think I need to move this here. I'm gonna try to figure out how I can, because I don't need all three cameras. Let me just click this one out here. Oh man.
And
all right. All
you
right.
got
So let's just do this. What you say?
you got smoke, and
That's the glory cloud. That's
you got smoke, and you got a bottle back there. What's in that bottle? I need to know what's in that.
listen. My Jesus turned water into wine. He turned water into wine, and he drank some good wine at the Last Supper. So, matter of fact, he said, "I will not sup with you till I sup with you a drink of this cup in my Father's kingdom." That's what he said. That's what he said.
Saints, this is Orthodox teaching that he's teaching tonight.
Man, I'm so honored to have you. Hey, family, if y'all don't know, y'all need to, some of y'all need to tag, let's see if we can do this, tag Bishop Butler in the comments, and let him know that you're grateful to be a part of the conversation. Bishop I'm gonna try to get this thing straightened out so that we can actually be on the stream at the exact same time. Yes, let's see. I got all three of my cameras going, and we don't need all that. We don't need all that. But we're gonna get this thing right. We're gonna figure this thing out right. We're gonna get it right. Somehow or another we're gonna get this thing right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so here we are. We're here. We're here. We're in here. We're in the election room. As a matter of fact, let me try to go to this one. All right, let me do that there. All right. I like this one a little better. Okay, so now Bishop. Wait, which camera am I on? I'm on this camera. Okay. All right. Hey, family. Get in here. This is yours truly, Dr. Quincy Summons, Principal Curator of the House Heraldry. And on the next go round, I'm going to make sure that I have the profile information for our guests as well. Tonight, I want to talk to you for just a few moments, maybe 40 to 50 minutes from the subject, the right way to brand. Let's see, we've been streaming for about 14 minutes now. And so I want you to pinpoint that minute as the minute we begin our conversation, the right way to brand. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight that are relevant to your business, to your ministry, to all of your endeavors, to your ideas, your visions. Excuse me. There is a correct way and an incorrect way to brand. And as individuals who have serviced dozens upon dozens, I dare I even say hundreds upon hundreds collectively between the both of us, of individuals across the nation, and dare I say even around the globe, individuals who have a global footprint. We're pretty qualified at discussing the nuances, the particulars regarding branding and marketing with regards to faith-based and even non-faith-based entities, organizations, companies, visions, ideas. And so this gentleman in front of us is a trusted voice. And I think that you all you would do yourself a tremendous favor by listening and streaming with us. Again, we're streaming on, I want to say 3 or 4 or 5 different Facebook pages. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. And so I know that this video is going to get several dozen, if not several hundred views, which as I still have people telling me that they watched my video from last summer with regards to protocol and all of that. And so I'm going to engage my guest tonight by having a good discussion. Bishop, how you feeling, first of all?
I feel great, man. The Lord's been kind to me, and I have absolutely no complaints in the world. Happy to be alive, happy about some of the things that you and I are going to do together. I'm really encouraged. I'm really encouraged as a whole, just about life, about ministry, about business. Again, God has been really, really kind to me, man. I can't hear you.
All right, how about now?
I hear you now.
Okay, so I want to talk to you particularly with regards to some of the things that you and I have discussed privately that relate to branding and marketing, especially and in particular churches, faith-based institutions, or corporations. Of course, you have your hands, like I do, in some secular endeavors, as far as music and education and consulting and counseling. So let's talk for just a few moments about what some of the challenges as a designer, as a brand strategist that you face so that our clients get a better idea of what it takes to get from vision to reality, the steps that you and I walk through and go through so that we can take what they see or even what we see and put it as something that everybody can see. You've been doing this how long, and it's allowed you to service how many people, and what is maybe one or two things that you would like to communicate to our viewing audience that is important when selecting a designer and selecting brand materials to promote whatever your vision is?
Well, as far as I've been doing this now, maybe about 15 to 20 years, right? Um, I don't know. I just I'm a hand artist. My my area of strength in artwork was graffiti. I had a lot of Hispanic friends, and I used to draw graffiti a lot. And then it translated into computer art and stuff like that. And I always had a love for church heraldry and stuff like that. And so I just, as time progressed, I started diving deep into that. One of the very first seals that I saw that motivated me to want to learn how to do Episcopal seals. The very first one I saw was Bishop Gerald Seabrook's seal. It was at his consecration, and when I saw his seal at the time, I think I was working on Photoshop at that time, and so I just tried to do it. I just tried to do it, and then as time progressed, I just got better at it. Then I found myself getting clients to do it because ABC Graphics, you're familiar with them. Um, they were very high at the time. They were very, very high at the time. And around the time that I got into it, it was really just entering into the Pentecostal church world, seals and coat of arms and stuff like that. And so I dived into it, and I realized that I had to, my client was coming to me about something spiritual. My client was coming to me about something that they needed to represent them episcopally and ecclesiastically. And so, with them asking me to create something that helped to visualize what they were coming to me about, I realized that I could not just create it, because just creating it would cause me to be pulling it from someplace else to replicate it here, just throwing it together. I realized that the process had to become about prayer. Um, I had to sit, have a consultation with this client. When speaking to this client, I had to really tap in the Holy Ghost to what they were trying to explain to me about themselves, that they wanted to come into this little coat of arms or this seal. What is it about them that they wanted this piece of work to show? And so I needed to pray about it. So the main process about this is really going into prayer, really trying to tap into the heart and the spirit of the client, and executing it with a spirit of excellence. I will say that in the beginning stages, in the very early beginning stages of doing this, I used to copy other people's work. But then I realized that I would become more valuable as an artist if I really took the time to, if you can copy it, you can do it. That's my thing. If you can copy it, you actually can do it. You're just being lazy when you copy it, right? But if you can copy it, if you can recreate it, then you can actually do it. You just need to tap into that vein of creativity that you have, because the reason why you're able to copy it is because you have this vein of creativity, right? It has been deposited in you. But now, instead of you copying what God gave to somebody else, copy what God puts in your spirit. And when you copy what God puts in your spirit, it's automatically an original. I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear anything that you said just now, bro. I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear anything that you said just now, bro. No, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear anything that you said just now, bro.
How about now? Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yes.
Okay. All right. My bad.
You're
Y'all
gonna
forgive me,
have to
please.
say all of that all over again now, because I don't
Well,
think our
okay.
guests can hear you neither.
Okay. Gotcha. So basically, what I said was, um, for the last 2 to 3 years, I've done the absolute best that I can to produce some quality work for dozens upon dozens, about hundreds upon hundreds of clients. And all of them have original work. No one person, even if they come to me and say, hey, I like what you did with this one. Can you do this with that and the third with this? And I'll say to them, yes, but with modification, because I understand that there's literally no object in the entire universe that is exactly like another. It may be tremendously bigger, it may be tremendously smaller. It may have one dimple, one pebble, one crevice, one crease that makes it distinct. There's colors that we have not even seen yet that are all entire a part of this universe. It doesn't make any sense for those of us who are just, as you said earlier, lazy. It doesn't make any sense for those of us who want something. We just express laziness in trying to pursue it. So tonight and the next couple of streams, I want to be able to do this maybe twice a month. I'm not going to commit to it every week because there's so much that we have to do. But if we can maybe get together twice a month and discuss what are the right ways and wrong ways to brand or anything related to branding and marketing, especially with regards to our communities, I think I don't just think, I know that we owe you a tremendous service. You deserve to have an opportunity when you come together to talk to someone, be able to share in our stream with regards to, oh, okay, thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Hey, I see you all. I see you all commenting. Hopefully you can hear me now. Um, I want to make sure that we're doing the absolute best that we can to get our communities to understand that there's a right way and a wrong way to brand, because we have a lot to accomplish. And our goal as brand strategists is to make you look good. We look good when you look good. But when you look bad, all of us look bad. All of us suffer because we're not getting the authentic you. We're getting the you stole from somebody else. We're getting the you that made an impression. We're getting something that made an impression on you, but it really isn't genuine you. So that's what we're here to do tonight. We're here to dispel the myths about credit sales coaches, farms, logos, what you've been taught about them. Many of us want to have to be reformed in how we think about branding, which doesn't just include a logo. And every institution on the planet has a logo. The tripods that are holding my cameras up are from a company that has a logo. Our house was built, your house was built by an architecture firm that has a logo. Your water is provided to you by a company. That company has a logo. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, the shoes you wear, the bed you sleep on, the sheets you dress your bed with, the drinks you purchase, everything has a logo. We're surrounded by logos. We look for certain logos. I look for Great Value and Hefty and Ford and Chevy and Maserati and Lincoln. There's so many brands. We are bombarded with brands on a day-to-day basis. How would you feel if there was a company that was a Cadillac with Cadillac's logo on it? Wouldn't you feel deceived? Or would you be saying, hey, bro, Cadillac didn't register or trademark that logo, so it's fair use? No, you would probably be deceived because you're looking for the Cadillac experience, but you're getting a Hyundai experience instead because somebody at Hyundai thought it was a good idea to take the Cadillac logo and slap it on their car. And then you, like many of us, would get out of the car and say, do you think I'm stupid? This is not what I paid for. This is not what I purchased. This is not the experience I want. So branding and marketing the right way is a key to making sure that you as a consumer get the experience you're paying for, and that you as a producer give to your clients and give to the people who are looking for what you have to produce. You give them what they're looking for. Hop in, Bishop. I don't have, we can just share, man.
I again, like, one, when you're trying to brand yourself, You can't be cheap. I'm gonna let that sit right there. You can't be cheap. You have to be willing to make the investment. Um, it's because it's an investment. You're investing in you, your brand, your logo, whatever it is that you are putting out there to represent you is what people will see before they even have a conversation with you, which means it has to be attractive enough to make people want to have the conversation with you. If it's not attractive, nobody's going to want to have this conversation with you. They're not going to want to have anything to do with what it is that you're offering because it hasn't grabbed their attention visually. Um, that would be the very first thing. The second thing is to be original. Um, be authentic, be original. Try to get with somebody that can do this and do it to where it represents you completely and totally. And and your logo is not a knockoff of something else. And when I say knockoff, plenty of times people are, they create things, and if you look, myself and Archbishop, because we do this, we know what to look for to determine whether this has been copied or this is an original. And so you don't want to run into people who see your brand and be like, because if your brand is a copy of something else, then people are going to automatically feel like they're not getting an authentic you, because they're gonna automatically feel as if they're getting somebody who's trying to be somebody else. And you want to avoid that you don't want to market duplication, you want to market authentication. You don't want to market duplication, you want to market authentication. God put something in you that he has made it so to where nobody else has that to offer. There may be likenesses of it here and there, but there's something in you that nobody else can do or nobody else does like you. Myself and Archbishop, we both do seals, we both do crests, we both do coats of arms, we both do documents, we both do protocol. We do it all the same. We do all the same things. But there is a style that I have that he doesn't. There's a style that he has that I don't. It doesn't mean that the both of us are, one of us is better than the other or less than the other. It just means that I have a way of doing it. He has a way of doing it. And we both do it at a level of excellence. And we try. I know I do, and I know he does. We don't want to copy one another because we want people to get the authenticity of who we are. It's like in the baseball team, in the baseball world, there are 28 teams, 32 teams, or 30 teams in the Major League Baseball. They all play baseball. Every one of them have non-players on the field, but they all play differently. They all have a different coach. They all have a different game plan. And that's what makes each team different from the other. Yes, all of them have the same goal of winning a championship. All of them have the same goal of hitting the ball, getting around the bases, but they do it differently. They have a different game plan. So you want to identify and get up. You want to make sure that you are presenting and marketing your authenticity. If you're not going to market and present your authenticity, your scope of influence and your list of clientele is going to be very short. And I mean very short. It's going to be very short because people are going to notice that this person's seal looks just like this person's seal, or this person's logo looks just like this person's logo. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to give every one of your clients a genuine, independent, autonomous, completely authentic experience.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Um, Baseball teams all across the country have different logos. Basketball teams all across the country, different logos. They're performing the exact same sport,
Yeah.
but they have different visions. They have different backgrounds they're coming from. They're in different locations. They have unique perspectives on what they do. And so, just like if football teams and basketball teams and soccer teams and hockey teams, and there's dozens and there's hundreds of companies that produce water, but no one water company is exactly the same. Voss doesn't try to take off from Poland Spring. Poland Spring don't try to take off from Deer Park. Deer Park don't try to take off from what is it? Perrier. Yes. So,
All that stuff behind you, that water behind you.
That's good water right there. That's water with a little tint in it. That's water with a little tint in it. Praise the Lord. So yeah, man. Let me cover this up because the saints like the pride people. Praise God. But I ain't covered up nothing. I'm grown. I ain't had nothing. You mind your business. Praise God. Like every shirt you wear comes from a particular designer. Every pants you wear comes from a particular designer. Every house that's built in this country comes from a particular designer's style. Even music branded uniquely, food branded uniquely. And so there's a right way and a wrong way to brand and market yourself so that you're not misrepresenting who you are. You're not misrepresenting the product or service that you want to provide. And you're accurately and properly communicating it so that you're not defrauding your audience of the authentic you need to serve. That's what it's really all about. This conversation is not designed to shame anyone at all. And so for those who feel like how I presented certain subjects or topics, if it isn't, if you feel offended by it, if you feel as if we were intending to shame you, that's never my case. My intention is to, I will say, upset you, but to the point of changing and re-examining. Okay,
Well, we do want to encourage people. We do want to encourage people to stop stealing.
We want to encourage you. Stop stealing. we want to strongly encourage you to stop stealing, because the reality is that if it were your work, you wouldn't be saying things like, "Is it copyrighted?" Well, it's not copyrighted and it's not trademarked and it's not registered. So
be nice,
sure.
Be nice, service. Be nice, service. Be nice, service.
You would be out and trying to contact any and everybody who runs business, who knows law, and be trying to figure out what you can do to protect your brand, your identity, the investment that you made. I mean, unless you went on some cheap website and paid $20 for it, or made a free logo from God only knows. I don't even know what these sites are. There are sites out there
What is it?
allow you to make a free logo.
And what is it? Fivre?
Well, no, even on Fiverr. I'm not gonna get folks like, because folks like I'll put folks in the house and say, okay, you don't Fiverr though. You still got to pay, but you might not get what is best for your brand.
No, you're not gonna get what's best for your brand. What you're going to get is a cookie cut image, right? So if you track your image back, you'll see that it looks like 50 other people's stuff. That's all. And that's called the cookie cutter effect.
Yeah, because they're going to think, oh yeah. For example, Harvest Church. Harvest Church is not a singular name. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of Harvest churches in this nation and across the globe. Exactly how unique can a Harvest Church logo be without somebody who takes time to do some research and see what's already out there so that they don't have an idea and just run with it? That's why even some of my clients, they've gotten upset with me. They told people, don't do business with Sir. He's late. He gonna have you this, that, and the third. Well, number one, if you only give me a couple of days or a couple of weeks to produce your product, and you're talking about something that's going to last for years to come, with your organization, with your flyers, your programs, your investments, your signs, your postcards, your envelopes, your website, your social media pages. We're talking about something that's going to go on dozens of brand materials that relate to your ministry. Do you really want somebody who only took 2 days to do it?
Well, let's use this as an example, Archbishop. When a woman gets pregnant, it takes her a little while before she finds out exactly what the gender of that child is. So until she knows what the actual gender of that child is, and she may not know it up until maybe it's probably going to be about 3 months before she actually knows for sure what the gender of that child is. Then there is another 6 months of deliberation, negotiating, and contemplating on what the name of that child is going to be. Which means that it literally took this woman 9 months to decide what she would officially put on paper. You have to be willing to go through the thought process before it gets on paper. It's this thing, what you have is it's your baby. You're not going to really find out what it's supposed to really do until you thought about it sometime. Then when you thought about it sometime, now you go on to the next process. What's the name going to be? What name do I want this thing to identify us with? Then when you get the name, now you go into the courts to incorporate and legitimize it and put it on paper. It don't get put on paper and legalized the very moment you thought about it. And you can't expect us as artists to put your baby on an express train, because if that's the case, then your baby is possibly born as a premature or preemie, and it has the possibility or the capability of not surviving the market that you're trying to be in because it wasn't done with much thought. I tell people all the time.
Premature babies have complications. Their immune systems are not able to, like you said, handle the weather and the complexities in the environment. They don't answer the questions that come at them. Stamina to maintain longevity.
Yeah, I tell people all the time. I say, you want to. Here's the case in point. 12 years ago, I did a logo for my church. Had I really thought that thing through, I would have come up with the logo that would have been relevant to every season my church went through. Pandemic, bishopric, overseas. I would have been right now, after 12 years and 4 logos for my church. I finally have the logo for my church that does not need to change ever again. The logo looks Episcopal, it looks urban, it looks relevant, it looks media friendly and everything. That's what you want to do. You want to take the time to think. I tell people all the time when I'm doing their flyers, if you need me to do this flyer in 2 hours, you need to go to somebody else. Because the first thing that needs to happen is I need to extract out of my mind all of the things that I'm thinking about that have nothing to do with you and the flyer that you're trying to commission. I got to get all that other stuff out of my mind so that my mind is not convoluted with the things that I'm going through. You got to give me, first of all, don't look for that flyer from me in 2 days, because it's going to take me 2 days to get rid of the flyers that I just did a little while ago for somebody else. I got to get that out my spirit so that when I start to work on yours, I'm not working by I'm looking for the word. I'm working on inspiration. I'm working on inspiration and not frustration or rushing. I'm working on inspiration. I have to tell my father in God, Archbishop Figueroa, all the time. When he needs a flyer done, he calls me. He said, I need this flyer right now. I'll be like, okay. I want to give you what you want, but as much as my father in the Lord talks about protecting his brand and making sure that his brand is right, then if you're making it your responsibility and your priority to take care of your brand and cover your brand, then you also got to give me the opportunity to do the same with you. Because if I keep dishing out and putting out stuff that looks like everything else that we did, then people are not going to take your brand serious. They're going to say they're doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, if I put out a flyer that looks like last year's Holy Convocation, we may miss attendance because they're going to think that it's last year's convocation.
There's a strategy to branding, people. There's a strategy to marketing. Do you think that you just give your dollars away because you want to? In many cases, whether you like to admit it or not, the reality is that uh, these major companies and corporations, and I'll even dare say us, churches, pastors, restaurant owners, clothing manufacturers, we have to study our consumer. We have to study the people who are going to purchase our products, or more importantly, the people who want to purchase our products, and we have to determine what's the middle ground between what you want and what we want to give, between what's going to get your butt out of your home and into our store, out of your car and into our cart on our website. What's going to give you what you want, but also give us what we want as well. So there's a strategy in all of it. And more importantly, when we're branding for you, we're thinking strategy. What's going to take your vision from nobody even paying any attention to hundreds, if not thousands, sitting in a room, investing, buying into what you have to offer, what you say is worth time, talent, and treasure. That does not come overnight. Anybody who can produce a logo for you within 24 hours to even a week or a couple of weeks, they're lying to you, they're cheating you. A good product takes weeks, if not even months, to produce. It has to go through a strenuous project, a strenuous process of deliberation and negotiation, and it has to go through a lot of, we have to consider the pros and cons of one particular design over another. Like the logo for my church has been the exact same from its inception. Actually, no, let me take that back. That's not true. I created something that was a Texas logo, and I wasn't entirely satisfied with it. Then I finally found a designer before I started making logos for myself that could actually that communicated the message. And in the almost 9 or 10 years of our church, I changed the logo once from the former font that it had to its current font, but the logo remains the same. And if I wish I could show you all, actually I can. Let me go. I'm going to show you what the performance looks like.
I can't say the same
There it
thing.
is. So if I wish that I could show you all exactly what it looked like beforehand. I don't have that picture on me. Let me show you all what it looks like in black. There we go. But I just changed it a couple months ago. I just changed it a couple months ago because I wanted to produce something that would be fresh. It would be Gothic, but it would also be contemporary. It would be traditional, but it would also be edgy and urban and modern. That was the goal for fullness. If you look at it, and I can actually even explain it to you, because you should be able to do this with your logo. If you create something that's uniquely you, it should speak to the vision of your company, your corporation, your brand, and should nobody else be able to say that they have that same vision, identity, those same markers. If you look at this logo quickly, I'm going to give you a congratulations. Number one, you have the flame of fire above. The fire is separated into three parts. The three parts represent the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father above, Son beneath, Holy Spirit in the middle. The four leaves represent the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It also represents the four winds. We take the four winds, or rather, we take the gospel, the good news of the kingdom that the good news that the kingdom of God has come to the four different directions, north, east, south, and west. And if you put it together, the wheat, the wind, and the fire represent Ephesians chapter 4. For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, did God give apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers, until we all come into the unity of the knowledge of God, unto a mature man, under the stature and measure of the fullness of Christ. Fullness means maturity. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear all the time. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear to grow you up so that you are no longer you are becoming like Christ. There's a slang, I think it was Benjamin Elijah Hayes of Morehouse College that said, there's a crown above your head, and I'm paraphrasing, but life helps you to grow up into fitting that crown. If you can't explain your logo like that, you're treating your community.
Now, let me ask this question. How long did you have to think about that before you actually did it?
I want to say it might have been a year, it might have been 2 years, it might have been 3 years. This is about to be almost 10 years old, and we didn't get that logo right away. It took a long time of thinking about what the vision is.
Now, so we just proved the point, because I said, now my church started. This church started 12 years ago. I'm the founder, and I had the first logo. I thought it was nice. I thought it was nice. It had a cross, Glory Tabernacle. It had a little Bible underneath it. I thought it was nice. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that I was doing it myself and I was not as advanced, right? However, as time progressed and the seasons of the church changed, I went to another logo, and I just did it because, you know how to do graphics, do something that's catchy without thinking about it. The only thing I was thinking about was the name, but not the significance of it, not what it actually meant, not what it was going to actually represent. That was logo number 2, that I followed the same pattern with logo number 1. The name, do it. The name, do it, right? Then we had a third logo, which was no longer, I don't think it said Glory Tabernacle, or it might have. I think we added something or whatever, but the letter, the interlocking of the letter changed. Then the pandemic came. And when the pandemic came, it pushed us. I was talking to you about this earlier, Archbishop, and how Facebook Live was one way of streaming, but the pandemic eliminated that way of streaming, and you had to go into real virtual streaming church to where you had to look like you was on the Word Network. And
like I do now.
They don't have these bottles at the Word Network, brother. They don't. But you had to give a presentation. There had to be it had to be like boom, because you didn't want people to, especially at the point that you had everybody on Facebook doing the same exact thing at the same exact time, preaching. And all it took was for somebody to be like this. And they scrolled until they found something that, not something that caught their ear, but something that caught their eye. It wasn't something that caught their ear, it was something that caught their eye. And of course, we had to have the whole 5-minute countdowns when we were doing it when the pandemic started. So the 5-minute countdown required a logo that wasn't boring. It required a logo, and that's when we came up with the 4th logo that I believe, listen to me, I had to pray for this particular logo. And it took me about 4 or 5 months to say, I got to come away from everything that we had, the first 3, and I need you to give me something that's going to stand the test of time, that would be able to survive any season moving forward.
Yes.
So that's the difference.
And
I rushed
I'm the
into
exact
it.
same way, man.
He took 3 years. He took 3 years to get one logo. I took four logos to get one logo.
To a pre-launch location a few weeks ago, across all social media channels within 60 minutes time. And I've had dozens of, maybe dozens of viewers here and there, in my 22 years of ministry, sadly. Uh, we're still trying to break that cyber ceiling of dozens of hundreds and hundreds of thousands and all that kind of stuff. We're almost there. I know what we've been missing. But in 60 minutes of streaming, simply because we were in a particular aesthetic, we had over 500 viewers. To your point, not even what people heard caught their attention. It was what they saw that caught their attention. And so as you're developing your brand, as you look at your pulpits, beloved, look at your stages, look at your backdrops, look at your offices, look at your studios, examine them, and think about the fact that think about, ask yourself the critical question: is this aesthetic appealing to the audience and the dollar amount that I want people to invest in, that I want to captivate, that I want to acquire? If it is, good job for you. However, don't get comfortable, because every couple of weeks, every couple of months, every couple of years, every corporation across the globe that wants to succeed at longevity changes. Flexibility is one of the wisest things you can do with regards to developing and managing a brand. The minute you lose your flexibility, you limit your lifespan. You limit the lifespan of how long a brand can be carried. I want to say, I wish I had it in front of me, but Pepsi has changed its logo dozens of times, but it's only after, and they just changed it again. Coca-Cola has changed their logo. Chick-fil-A has changed their logo. KFC has changed their logo. McDonald's has changed their logo. Ralph Lauren has changed their logo. Versace has changed their logo. Gucci has changed their logo. They've always updated, they've always refreshed, but they've tried to stay as current as possible so that they can stay on the cutting edge and make sure that they are attracting the people they want to spend and do business in their stores. And as faith leaders, as community leaders, as visionaries, as entrepreneurs, as people who have ideas and concepts that we want to sell, that we want to market, products and services that we want to offer people in exchange for money, compensation, bookings, we have to be very careful about what imagery we select, and more importantly, who we work with. We're getting ready to get out of here. We've been on almost an hour now, even though we got off to a late start. I want to keep mindful of our time. And so we're going to take maybe one or two more statements, and then we're going to let this go. And we're going to be back in about maybe 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is a good amount of time. Doing this every week is a big commitment, and I'm not going to set that right up now. But I appreciate Bishop Butler's time. But family, it's extremely important that I'm not going to rehash what we posted earlier today. If you want to see it, go back on my wall on Instagram and Facebook and look at it. I just want to let you all know there's a right way and a wrong way for it. And we, Bishop Butler and I, are happy to serve you. Contact him directly. Contact me directly. We are partners in this thing. Matter of fact, we're going to do some real good work to take over the nation and make sure that everybody got to come through me and him. We're going to make sure that everybody got to come through us, because we want to make sure that you are getting the absolute best. I started doing this because I realized that there was a deficit. There was a void. In 2020, there was a void. It wasn't just about the pandemic. Yeah, I needed money. I couldn't work the way I wanted to. Everything was shutting down. I needed to have money in my pocket. I needed to figure out what was an essential need-based business. Everybody needed food and clothes, shelter. Everybody needed marketing, because everybody, people still got to get paid, and people still got to generate this, that, and the third. So I began to explore, what can I do? What can I offer and contribute to human society, to our time, the era we live in? And I began to see how effective I am at a brand strategy. And so I began to really play around with things, and I started making stuff for myself. I noticed what I made for myself, and I said, if I can do this for myself and a handful of people who just say, hey, I got $7, how much you gonna charge me? I can make this a legit business. And it went from just being a hobby that I enjoy to now being a corporation that is registered in the state of Georgia, that has generated thousands and thousands of dollars. And I can show you my Cash App, my PayPal, my Square, my Wells Fargo, my Truist, my Regions, my Navy Federal Credit, Bank of States. I'm not quite rolling it back just yet, but we've generated some money because people have saw the quality we produce and they paid that invoice. They've invested in themselves and their brand by investing in a quality design. I just want to take their brand, their company, their organization, their vision seriously. Any last points, Bishop, that you want to address, that you want to kind of share with our audience before we get out of here?
No, just really, really excited about House of Heraldry and what we intend to do in the coming future. I think that we're better together, and it's getting ready to be a really awesome experience. And those of you who have been loyal to myself as a designer and been loyal to Archbishop Sermons as a designer, you're really in for a treat now, because two companies are getting ready to do what the Bible tells us to do, right? Come together. And I'm not sure if we was announcing that yet, but
Hey, y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to put this thing together. We're going to announce it. Right. We're going to
yeah,
announce exactly what it is. And we're going to let you know what it isn't, because collaboration and teamwork is the thing of the game at this point. Collaboration and teamwork. I'm excited to work with Bishop Butler. I'm excited to bring you another level of experience and quality. Um, this thing is going to another dimension, and I'm
yeah.
excited about this next leg of it.
We're bringing both of our expertise to the table, and it's going to be something that the kingdom is going to be excited about, and everybody moving forward will be satisfied customers. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, no, real talk, real talk. I just want y'all to take a couple minutes to admire the amazing work that is on your screen right now. We have the House of Heraldry logo in that upper right corner. We have my coat of arms, of course, our lower third here, just to give you an idea as to who is talking to you. If you don't know who you don't know who I am, I'm under a rock. Hopefully, the Lord exposes you to some sunlight, because there's a great big world out here, and I want to be one of the ones to help you envision it for you and help you walk into it. My name is Christopher Simons. I'm the principal curator for House of Heraldry. We're going to have some executive curators coming on board and some assistants, and also we're going to be expanding our staff really, really soon. We're expanding the movers and shakers of House of Heraldry really. So, Bishop Butler, I'm honored to work with you, sir. Honored to have this conversation. Thank you so much for all of you who tuned in and checked out this convo. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get off of here, because we want to keep these conversations to about an hour. And yes, forgive us for those people who decided to, if you watched at the end, just let me know you watched at the end. You fast forward at the end. Thank you for fast forwarding to the end. I know we're going to get dozens and hundreds of views after this. But prayerfully be marketing a lot better. We're going to my marketing strategy. I didn't expect for it to be a large crowd tonight, but thank you to those of you who are on Facebook who commented and peeped in for a couple of moments. I appreciate you. And for those of you who are going to be looking at this after the fact, the best is yet to come. Y'all ain't seen nothing. Yeah, I'm in my office. Bishop Butler's in his office. But we're going to take this thing from the office to the studio, to the theater, to the streets, to the globe. And so, man, I'm excited. I'm honored, humble, grateful, and I'm eager to get this thing moving. So, hey, any last word, Bishop? Awesome. Y'all have a great night. I got a couple promos that I'm going to flash on the screen as we get out of here. But hey, stay tuned. Let's say 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday, on times 6:30 to 7:30, in about 2 weeks, which I don't know what that'll be. That'll be like sometime in early May. So early May, maybe the first Wednesday of May, whatever it is. But I get back on here, we're gonna probably produce a flyer so that you know exactly what it is, what we're going to be discussing, and we're going to make this a great conversation. All right. Have a blessed and prosperous Wednesday. Have a blessed and prosperous week, and we'll see you next time on the House of Heraldry.